Speaker, and I thank my gentleman, my friend, my colleague for yielding to me. And today, this is terribly important to me. I've spent 6 years of my life on this bill. So bear with me if I get a little emotional. But today I urge my colleagues to defeat the previous question so that we can strengthen the Stock Act, a bill that has been weakened by House Republican leadership behind closed doors and in the dark of night. When writing their own version of the Stock Act, Majority Leader Cantor and House Republican leadership did not consult the bipartisan coalition that has championed this bill. And over the week, neither I nor Mr. Walz were asked to contribute to the final product, nor was our leader consulted in any way. Despite championing the bill for 6 years, I was left completely out. As a matter of fact, the way the bill is structured, I won't even have an opportunity to offer an amendment to put back the political intelligence piece, which I think is really the heart of the bill. The bill was changed from a bill to a suspension, which means that the minority will have neither the right of motion to recommit or an opportunity to amend this bill in any way. That contrasts completely with what happened over in the Senate, where members of the Senate were allowed to present amendments to this bill, and many of them did it successfully. But what we got here was a flawed bill last night, and a need to introduce revised legislation earlier today. As a matter of fact, the bill they put out last night has already been superseded by one about 45 minutes ago, which shows you that if you write something in the dark of night, you may not know what you wrote. Despite the many changes, the bill is weaker, not stronger than before. The simple truth is that the bill introduced by House Republicans waters down government reform, particularly when it comes to regulating the political intelligence industry. Political intelligence is the latest scheme to profit from the halls of Congress. The industry profits to the tune of $400 million annually, and that's all we know. That grew from the information we had previously, so we don't even know where it is, but this is at least almost $500 million a year. They glean valuable information, and they sell that information to their high-paying Wall Street clients. None of my constituents are able to do anything like that. They have no prior information, and they expect their Congress to be more decent, with more integrity than to be doing that. But like the lobbyists before them, political intelligence operators use a proximity to power to serve high-paying clients. Unlike the lobbyists, they are nameless. Under the current law, they're not required to identify themselves as they go about their work, completely unregulated. America knows all too well what happens when the Congress and K Street meet in the dark. From Jack Abramoff to Tom DeLay, corruption can spread through the highest reaches of Congress without the proper controls, and we know it. But with the Stock Act, we have a chance to be proactive and simply require, no big whoop, the operatives to register as a lobbyist so we know who they are. This is not a radical idea, but over the last week, the outcry from K Street has been deafening. Soon after they rang the alarm, the House Republican leadership locked themselves behind closed doors where they reworked my original legislation and removed the language that regulated the political intelligence community. We are now set to consider a bill that commissions a study on political intelligence, hardly the type of action that will restore America's faith in this institution. Did House Republican leadership return to their Abramoff-era ways and put the needs of K Street before Main Street? We will never know, because we don't know who they are and what they're doing. But we know that they're doing something. What we do know is the regulation of the political intelligence community was supported by 285 members of Congress who were co-sponsors of our original bill, including 99 Republicans, to which we are extremely grateful, and a bipartisan supermajority in the Senate. The bill, as you know, passed over there 96-3. What we do know is that after emerging from behind the closed doors, a bill introduced by Mr. Cantor does nothing to regulate the political intelligence community. The House leadership should have allowed this bill to be finalized in an open and transparent manner. It's that important. America is watching. I have never seen the editorial support or the outpouring of support like we have had on this measure. People want us to be doing this. It is really beyond my ken that we are doing this in such a hidden and weak way. But if this had been allowed to come to the floor, I'm confident that my 285 colleagues who supported the original Stock Act would have passed the tough regulations for the political intelligence community. May I have another 30 seconds?
I'll be happy to yield an additional minute to the gentlelady from New York.
Thank you. Instead, the majority continued their my way or the highway approach. They shut out their colleagues and made partisan changes to a bipartisan bill. As a result, a bipartisan coalition in the House is left with one option: to reintroduce our political intelligence regulations by defeating the previous question, or putting Main Street before K Street starts here. I urge my colleagues to defeat the previous question, reinsert language to regulate a growing K Street industry, and make the Stock Act as strong as it was when I introduced it 6 years ago. I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentlewoman yields back for